everyone. I am so excited to begin. My name is Queen Lorraine, son of girl Kai, and I am your host for the evening. I'm very excited in honor of Black History Month. I had to have one of my favorite people on the planet, no other but Nuala Cabral. I'm so happy to have you here, Nuala. I've known you since middle school. You know me when I was like younger. And now we still have kept in touch. You're working at Sophia Academy. Sophia Academy connected us. Shout out to Sophia Academy in Rhode Island. I'm so grateful to have met you. You've been such an inspiration, even like a mentor to me. Honestly, you really have navigated a lot of things for me in my life, educational wise. And I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate your presence. Every time I get to be in your presence, it's an honor. And I love you, sister. You're my sister. You're my friend. You're just, big sis, all of that. So I love you. And thank you so much for accepting my invitation and being here on this platform. You're actually my very first person for Black History Month that I'm interviewing. So in the honor of Black History Month, I pretty much just want to bring up Black kings and queens that I admire on here to just share their review on this history that we celebrate today that is becomes to call Black History Month. I know it wasn't always like this, so I just want to share light on it and celebrate us as Black people in general. So yeah, thank you for being here, Nuala. So
Thank
just
you.
to begin, can you please tell us some fun fact about yourself and what do you love about your role?
Queena, thank you so much for that introduction. And you made me teary eyed because I admire you so much as well. And as a leader, as a resilient Black woman navigating this country
Yeah.
and everything you've been through. And just really grateful to be in the space and just to see you shine. Like you are shining, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
it's just
you.
it's been wonderful to witness you growing up into such a powerful young woman. So thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being my sister and my friend as
Yeah.
well. Um,
Amen.
yeah, shout out to Sophia Academy in Providence, Rhode
Yes.
Island.
Yes.
Met years ago. Um, so the question was to tell you some fun facts about myself
Yes,
and my
please.
role, my current job.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
your job. Yes.
Okay. Well, I am um, Nuela Cabral. My pronouns are she, her, and I currently live in Philadelphia, but I was born and raised in Rhode Island. Um, and I am a former educator, an educator at heart always, a filmmaker, an activist, and currently I'm a program officer at a private foundation in Philadelphia that supports community media making and social change. Um, I have a 2.5-year-old son who brings so much joy to my life. And I don't know. I'm sure that I'll share a few other little facts about myself. Oh, I'm Cape Verde American. I mean, I gotta
Yes. Converted in the house. Yes.
Cape
Represent.
Verdean on my dad's side. I'm also Irish American on my mom's side. Gotta shout that
Yes.
out too. And yeah, that is a little bit about me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, Noella. That I actually mentioned your background, a little bit about your background. I love your dad, your mom and your dad, but your dad is a storyteller. I remember like being in Root Cafe. I'll never forget Root Cafe in Rhode Island. And like he's amazing. Your parents, as both of them, are so amazing. So I was also not only that I know you, but I know your family as well. Your sister amazing. Congratulations to her. I know she just got her doctorate degree. Whew,
Oh,
shout out to that. That's Black
thank
excellent
you.
right there. Shout out to that. Yeah, I'm just so proud of you and just the many things you're doing, with yourself, the many things you're doing and currently in Philly and just representing, your culture, representing and not forgetting about your roots and where you come from. You know, you're constantly doing stuff, and for me, that's just so inspiring and motivating. So thank you for that. And thank you for that brief interview. Now I'm just gonna jump straight to our question.
Okay.
Well, just an icebreaker. If you
Yeah.
could visit anywhere in the world that you haven't been, where would it be?
Mm. Oh, there's so many places. I'd really love to go to Hawaii someday.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I think growing up I just thought of it as this beautiful tropical place. But I've also as an adult learned more about the history of Hawaii and the um just the powerful like movement building and organizing and resistance of the indigenous people
Yeah,
there. And
yeah,
so I think I would love to go and visit Hawaii and also get to know the people and the movement building and how, you know, uh we Americans who are conscious and aware of colonialism and the ways in which our country um land grabs and oppresses people abroad, and takes their resources,
yeah,
I feel also a responsibility to like not only just go and enjoy the beaches, although I would love to do that.
yeah,
I also want to learn more about the history and the current organizing and connect with folks there who are building, um, building a resistance against U.S. imperialism and colonialism. So that's a place I would love to go.
yeah. That's great. It's funny you said it's on my list of places that I want to go. On my
Yeah,
bucket list of places. So that's
yeah.
amazing. That's
Let's
really
go
cool.
together today. You
Yes,
know,
let's do it. Definitely.
we could
Let's
make that.
do it. I'm totally for it.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Nuala, let's jump into the question. What
Okay.
does Black history means to you?
Um, what does Black history mean to me? Um, well, can I say when I think of Black history, I think of the ways in which Black history is often erased, overlooked, um, seen as dangerous in a way, or I feel like a lot of our Black history has been um, obscured
Hmm.
purposefully. Um,
Hmm.
and so that's kind of what I think about when I hear the term Black history. That knowing our Black history is reclaiming,
Right.
our roots, are knowing where we come from and who we are, and also to acknowledge the breadth, right, of
Hmm.
blackness. And
Yeah.
when I think of Black history, I'm not just thinking about Black American history. I'm thinking about the diaspora as well, and the
Yeah.
ways, particularly as an American, the ways in which we experience Blackness, the ways in which we relate to one another from across and within, the diaspora, uh,
Hmm.
and just understanding like the interconnections of our
Right.
history,
Right.
um, and celebrating that. Those are some things that come to mind when I think of Black history, that
Yeah.
we have to, particularly, you know, Black folks who care about Black liberation.
Right.
We know that Black history isn't just about a bunch of like names about people that we might have learned in elementary school. Because
Yeah.
although some of those individuals are, of course, important, people like Martin Luther King and Rosa
Right.
Parks, a lot of times the histories that we're taught in school about those individuals is so flat. It's so narrow
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
minimizes some of the radical imagination that these folks had and the movements that they were part of, the grassroots movements. And so yeah, I think that it's important for us to kind of dig deeper when we think about Black history, like,
Yeah.
look behind the
Right.
the stories that we might have heard in school about who invented what, not because that's not important, but because there's so much more out there that
Yes.
they're not going to teach us in most of our schools. And I think for a lot of us, it's not until we get older, maybe in college or through families and community, that we learn about the history that we didn't learn necessarily in like K through 12. You know,
Right.
um, shout out to Spelman College, where they had a course that everyone was required to take about the African diaspora. And, there's a lot of history there that I didn't learn in high school. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think about stuff like that a lot, Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you said that because I'm from Africa. Coming here, learning this in this country. This is first of all when I came, I was young, so it was in this country that I even knew what Black history was.
Hmm.
I wasn't even aware of that. It was such things of Black history, even racism, even all the segregate, everything that the slavery. I didn't know of that until I came to this country. I didn't even know people were judged by the differences of the skin until I came here because where I'm from in Liberia, we all look alike. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's no difference there. So coming here, that's when I realized, oh my God, I am different. You know what I mean? That's where I realized that. And so I like how you said in school it is very flat, the history that it teaches us because I had to even go on and do my own research on more people, on more in-depth history of Black History Month. And I like how you say in Spelman, which that's where you went, right? Spelman,
Yeah, I spent part of my college time at Spelman College in
yeah,
Atlanta.
I like how you said it was mandatory that you take, a history like that. I wish, all the colleges actually did that, because I think that's so crucial and
Yeah.
that's so important to learn that it's not only those people, as you said, like you mentioned, like Martin Luther King, Rose, I love them and they had an impact, but it's not just them. It's more to it, like the diaspora, as you said, like it's more in depth of it. Even there's people from my country that was brought here, even the history of Liberia, if you look at it, it was a free slave from America that established Liberia, like our flag color. So it's so many history, like beautiful history that we need to know, except from like the flag, and I think that's the one that everybody run with, and if you usually ask them who their favorite Black history figure, they'll usually say Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, which as again, they're great people that have had a great impact, but that's not all to it. There's more history about us that needs to be learned. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and I want to I think it's particularly when we talk about Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King Jr. What when he started articulating his more radical views, like for example, like critiquing U.S. imperialism, critiquing the war, critiquing capitalism.
Right.
Um, that's when it was like, okay, now you've gone too far, right? And I think we
Hmm.
don't hear about that part of the history. We hear
Right.
shall overcome, and we shall desegregate the schools, and we should all love one another, and the color of the skin, regardless of our color of skin. Yes, and Martin Luther King he was starting to make connections, right, between
Right.
the struggles in our country and the struggles abroad that are
Right.
is was when they were oppressing people. And so I think that's part of it too, is acknowledging that a lot of Black history has been whitewashed, you know
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
reclaiming those narratives and making sure that young people in particular just have a today have a more um, just a deeper understanding of the fuller picture, and the um, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agreed. Yeah, to move into our next question, you explained that very well. Thank you so much. To move into the next question is how do you, if you do, how do you celebrate Black History Month?
I don't know that I celebrate Black History Month, but I live in Philadelphia, where there's always something happening.
Yeah.
And whether it's Black History Month or any month, we celebrate Black. people and blackness here
All
everywhere.
the time. Yes.
So
Yes.
there's always something going. If you want
Yes.
to celebrate, black people and black culture, whether it's the Odunde Festival in the first weekend in June, whether it's, a group called Love Now Media and StoryCorps are doing an event. I believe it's this weekend at the Philadelphia Museum of Art to celebrate Black history
Mm,
through storytelling. There's always something happening here, and
yeah.
that's kind of one thing I love about Philadelphia, that it's just
Yeah.
a rich celebration of all different kinds of cultures.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Black people here, and there's a lot of beautiful Black culture being celebrated as well, all
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that. I really do love that. I really like, and that's one thing I do like about Philly too. I remember visiting you, and so many things were going on, like so much, and I'm like, oh, like it's so good. And I think it's important. I think Black History Month. I think for me, it's like as you said, Black History should be celebrated every single day. You get what I'm saying? Not just a shortest month of the year. You feel me? Not
Mhm.
just the 29 days of the year, but every day we should celebrate us because there are great things going on. There are Black people every day doing things, coming up with new things, being, creating new things, but we don't hear about those things because again, I just said media kind of does with what they want to do. Or we see the negative on media of Black people more than the positive. So I think it's very important that Philly does that, that they celebrate, Black history in various ways, So I really love that aspect. So if y'all want to, do a lot of celebration, y'all need to head to Philly. I need to head to Philly. So I really love that about it. Thank you for saying that. So now at least my viewer know where to go if they want all those, great celebration. You definitely had buy your way to Philly, you will not regret. A weekend there, you will not even regret. It's always something going on over there. So thank you, Nuala, for sharing that. All right, moving on to the next question. What contribution have Black people made to society? What are some contribution you would say from your perspective that Black people made to society?
I mean, Black people built this country.
Amen.
Period.
Period.
They built this country, um, and even though they built this country, there is a lack of generational wealth due to systemic barriers and institutional racism.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think if you look at any any aspect of American society, whether you're looking at music, whether you're looking at sports, whether you're looking at food, whether you're looking at movement building, and policies, um, Black people have contributed to it and
Yeah.
are contributing to it, and um, yeah, I think sometimes it feels like this country, they love what Black people offer, but they don't love Black people.
Come on now. Repeat that. Come on.
They do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's really important that we love ourselves and that we
Yeah.
sell
Yeah.
ourselves to each other,
Yeah.
and and we recognize that a lot of the struggles that our people go through in this country are
Hmm.
not, it's not about a personal failure. I'm not,
Mm.
personal responsibility doesn't matter, right? We all should
Yeah.
make choices the best we can to survive.
Right.
But I'm saying that we have to recognize the ways in which Black people in this country have been cut out
Yeah.
and pushed down, and still some of us manage to, you know, excel to these other levels. And they talk about, exceptional, uh I think there's so much Black excellence in this country,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And at the same time, Black excellence is not going to save us. In my view,
Yeah.
we have to recognize that there are people who are not even able to achieve the Black excellence that the universe is there for them to achieve, because we live in a society that is um is just set up to marginalize and push people down. And so for me, it's about how do we resist, you know? How do we make this a world, a country and a world where there's more equity, where
Yeah.
people have opportunities, where we dismantle white supremacy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
recognize ways in which we live in a racist capitalist society that makes it really hard for a lot of people to survive and thrive. And so, um, I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, you did. You did perfectly. The point I really like, everything you said was great, but the one that really stood out to me is first of all, you said black people made this country, period. That's period, straight up period. And then you say love what black people can do, but they don't love black people. That is such a powerful statement because just recently in my training that I'm doing, my job training, a white woman said made the same, predominantly white women made the same comment. She said, I wouldn't imagine what would this country be like without black people. Where everything is going on right now. We were just having a conversation in my little group and she was saying that. She said, I wouldn't imagine. I don't understand why there's so much hate towards black people when black people actually did made America what it is. So for me, it's really important, as you said, that we love ourselves because it starts within us because we're already getting the hate from the outsider. We don't need to hate ourselves. We don't need to hate each other. And that's why for me it's important that I motivate my own people, that I support black businesses, that I support. And I'm not saying I don't support other people, but I'm saying that I really emphasize, supporting my black sister and my black brother because we already get a lot of hates enough. We don't need to do that to ourselves or to each other. So I really think you made a really important points about that, that we need to love ourselves. And I think because society um have put us in this box, that a lot of people, it's hard for them to step out of it. It's hard for them to see themselves how God sees them, or how they are powerful, how they have so much power and beauty. And even at saying something like, even I do natural hair, and like I'm all about specializing in natural hair, but I even see a lot of black women, who are not comfortable in their own skin. Like even being a darker skin, it's a problem. Women are bleaching themselves. There are a lot of African culture that are bleaching themselves. And a lot of people are bleaching just to look Americanized, just to look the typical standard of beauty, or what beauty is, because that's what they want us to think, that we're not beautiful. So I really like how you said love yourself. We have to love yourself. It starts with us. You can't, nobody else not gonna love you if you don't love yourself. So thank you so much. Thank you. And that's why I'm very passionate for what I do. And for people like you, we appreciate people like you to activate for the black community and show up for the black community, because there are people that don't have the voices that we have. So we have to be the voice for them. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate that. Um, yeah, absolutely. And I think when we're talking about like skin bleaching and the pressures that black women in particular are, face around
Yeah.
beauty standards and our hair, it comes back to white supremacy. And I think
Yes.
unlearning white supremacy is, like you're saying, is the first step, and we have to recognize it for what it is, that
Right.
conditioned, right, to value whiteness and white beauty
Mm-hmm.
standards as better, as superior, as more beautiful, as whatever. And we have to do a lot of unlearning as a
Yeah.
people, because sometimes we actually perpetuate it too, right? Even
Yeah.
look at the ways that, colorism shows up in our community, and the ways that, team dark skin and team light skin, and
Yeah. Yeah.
light skin privilege is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
I'm a black woman, I identify as a black woman. but I'm a light-skinned Black woman, and
Mhm.
so I'm gonna move through the world and experience it a little bit different than you are,
Right.
because I'm gonna be treated differently just because my skin is lighter,
Yeah.
and um, and that's something that I have to acknowledge. For me, if I don't acknowledge that privilege, and if I don't call out anti-Blackness when I see it,
Yeah.
then part of the problem,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it really comes back to understanding, like recognizing white supremacy. Oh yeah, that's white supremacy, and then unlearning it, because it's not just a personal thing. It's literally like this was by design for Black
Right.
people to
Right.
look down upon ourselves and then
Right.
reinforce that BS among each
Right.
other, as if dark skinned women are not as beautiful.
Right.
Like what? That is the
Yeah.
most so yeah, we have a lot of work to do
Yeah.
as a people, and I think Black women in particular, when it comes to colorism impacts all Black people, and not even all Black people, all people of color, because
Yeah.
colorism is in South Asian communities and
Yeah.
Asian
Yeah,
you know
Hispanic community. Yeah,
yeah.
I have darker Hispanic friends who are being treated different than the light skinned Hispanic. So yeah, my even my biological sister. She's lighter, like lighter than me, almost your complexion, and she's treated different. My uncle, when I was growing up, my uncle actually told me that I'm uglier because I'm dark skinned. My sister is prettier. Like so, so it just with the whole colorism, and we do it to ourselves too. That's the sad thing about it. We do that to ourselves. 'Cause as you said, with the whole team black, team the dark skin, team light skin, all of that, like we it need to stop. It just need
We're
2025. It just
doing them a favor. We're doing white supremacy a
right,
favor. Those narratives, like your uncle,
right,
we we have been brainwashed, and we have to unlearn. And I think our generation, we have an opportunity to really like flip the script. Let's treat
right.
our kids differently. Let's raise them differently.
Mhm.
To love themselves and to love Black being Black, and love
Yeah,
Black, not see it as a less than. Um,
yeah,
because when we do that, we are helping white supremacy win, and white
right,
is a global, epidemic. It is not just unique to Black people, but Black people know what very on a very um, literal level, generational level, how it has impacted us and the ways we interact with each other and the way we navigate the world. And we have to understand that we're not the only ones that white supremacy harms. And so how
yeah,
to build those bridges with our sisters and brothers who might be Asian or, you know,
right,
Latine. How can we build those bridges, and how can we help also like white folks understand these issues as well, because they need to be part of the solution, right?
right,
Like,
right.
fixing white supremacy should not just fall on Black people and people of color. We need white people who are anti-racist, who are willing to speak up and use their privilege to help
Yeah.
these harmful policies and practices and mindsets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. So I just to the follow up question for that, what would you want to tell parents raising black boys, black girls? What would you want to tell them who are listening to this right now? Because one thing I'm seeing in our black community is because with the whole colorism and stuff, we're doing it to ourselves. I'm seeing that the parents are not doing better in that. I'm seeing a lot of parents who are because I saw this experiment where a little black girl was asked, I don't know if you've seen that was a long time ago, to choose between a white doll and a black doll. And she chose the white doll. So what would you say to the parents who are raising little black girls and little black boys?
I mean, yeah, that's a famous experiment, and I think Dr. Yaba Blay recreated that experiment. She's a Black woman scholar, expert when it comes to white supremacy, and yeah, Google her, y'all, if you don't know
Okay.
Dr. Blay.
Yeah.
She's dope. But yeah, I think we have to just help our children love their blackness, and stop repeating these white supremacist lies and these narratives, and interrupt them when we hear them. So if we hear an uncle say, "Hey, you're more beautiful because you're light skinned," you say, "Excuse me, don't
Yeah.
talk, don't talk to her like that.
Yeah.
Your blackness is beautiful.
Mhm.
Your blackness comes from Africa.
Mhm.
You're, you see
Yeah.
that your head, you see that little curl? That's Africa.
Amen.
Be proud of that.
Yeah.
Survived and made it here." So yeah, I think a lot of it is the unlearning, like, teaching young people to love who they are,
Mhm.
understand the history and understand
Yeah.
why these narratives exist. Like ultimately that means, yeah, teaching about racism. And I think children can learn
Yeah.
that in, like, age appropriate ways. They can learn at a young age what racism means, and how to kind of navigate it. Um and And then it's about interrupting. I think it's about interrupting those narratives when we hear it. Sh
Yeah.
Oh, it yeah.
Yeah. That's good, Nuala. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Moving into the next question. How can we improve equality?
Oh, queen, a big question.
I know. Just in the smaller way from you, just in your little, just in your way. I know it's a huge question, but just think of it as like, how would, if Nuala want to improve that, or how can
Mm,
we as society, because I feel like each one of us can make a difference, right? And I think it's important for us to think like that. That like Nelson Mandela said, be the change you want to see, right? So yeah, so just in that perspective.
yeah. Um, I think, uh, okay, I'll try to like, offer a big picture response, and then I'll say,
Right,
like, my particular, like, what I'm doing, because I feel like, we all have a role to play when it comes
right,
to making this world a better place. It's like,
right.
um I mean, ultimately, I think, movements create change.
Hmm.
Collective movements, organizing, um, protests, boycotts, holding people accountable, holding our public officials accountable, running for office, um, voting is part of it too. Not the,
Mhm.
but I think it can be part of it. Um, Speaking up when you see policies that are discriminatory,
Mhm.
to remedy them. Um, Yeah, I think a lot of it, but I think ultimately when we look at, changes that have been made, it's because people came together and they resisted.
Mhm.
Whether it's labor issues, whether it's education, housing, anything. It wasn't just given to us. People had to fight for that. People had to fight for those rights. And so when I say fight, I mean, yeah, some people died
Yeah.
res protesting.
Yeah.
Um But I think a lot of it is about, coming together and understanding that our lives and our struggles are interconnected.
Mhm.
Particularly, you know, just understanding the ways in which, like, immigration justice, right? Like
Mhm.
the challenges and the struggles of people in this country right now who came here or trying to come here for a better life, and being detained. Um, they'll tax you though. You can,
Yeah.
we'll take
Yeah.
your money, but
Yeah.
we're gonna put you in a detention center. Like, understanding that a lot of these struggles, whether it's the struggles that, black people face, or people of color, whether it's the struggles that women face in this country to have control over their bodies, whether it's the struggles that non-binary and trans siblings are experiencing, people telling them they can't go to the bathroom. Like,
Mhm.
what? Like, they can't be free to live their lives and be safe in public spaces.
Mhm.
No, we have to understand that our struggles are connected. And so, that's why I do believe when Black trans women are free, everybody will be free, because Black trans women are experiencing a lot of barriers, the systemic barriers and hatred in this country. And so, how are we acknowledging those interconnections? How are
Yeah.
we making sure that while we fight for our liberation, whether it's as Black people, that we also acknowledge that as a woman, I'm also going to care about the liberation of women. As a queer person, I'm going to care about the liberation of queer people. I can't
Mhm.
just so single focus on one thing without understanding that we're interconnected, and that many of us don't just fit in one box. We're not just Black. We're not
Mhm.
just we're not just
Mhm.
a whatever, we're
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
able-bodied or not, or disabled.
Yeah.
So yeah, understanding that our struggles are connected, I think that's part of building a more a society that is has more equality, um, and building solidarity across movements. Um, and then also on a personal level, I work at a foundation that supports community media making.
Yeah.
We know that when we look at the mainstream media, there are a lot of stories and narratives and voices that are missing,
Yeah.
or we might see them, but they're very stereotypical, or stories or narratives that are very narrow. If we look at, for example, what's happening right now in Palestine and in Congo and in
Yeah.
Sudan,
Yeah.
um, there's a very particular narrative that's happening, or not. Like, you don't even really hear about the Congo in mainstream news, or Sudan.
Yeah.
You don't even
Yeah.
hear.
No.
And when you hear about what's happening in Palestine, it's very, it's very, it's a Zionist narrative, right? That
Mhm.
that really has overlooked the humanity of Palestinian people and the struggle that they have as an indigenous people who just want to live on their land and be free.
Mhm.
And so recognizing that um, mass media is very good at reinforcing narratives that lift up colonialism and U.S. imperialism and racism and sexism and all those things. And
Yeah.
we need alternatives to that. We need other media. We need media, whether it's community media or independent media or social
Yeah.
media, like you're doing right now. We
Yeah.
need those. We need more spaces where more voices and more stories can be
Sure.
illustrate a fuller picture of what is going on in the world and who we are, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm really grateful to work at a foundation that's able to support media, independent media making and community media making, because we're giving people funding to tell the stories that you're just not going to see in on MSNBC or Fox News, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to um, to understand that media has a big impact on culture.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
what you see is what you know. If you don't see it, you don't know it.
You don't know. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
day, TikTok, people are learning more about what's happening in Congo and in Gaza,
Thank you.
but you know, you don't you don't get a full picture on mainstream media, and I'm as a media maker and as an activist and educator, I'm I'm very passionate about the role that storytelling and narrative has when it comes to,
Yeah.
and um, and so I'm really grateful to be able to do my part.
Yeah.
Folks
Yeah.
have opportunities to tell their story,
Yeah.
to distribute those stories, you know, in Philly and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the one thing I really love about you about the media because it's so powerful what you see and what is put out there. And I like how you're in that field of really wanting to portray people's story and really want to pull out, because what people see, as you said, the regular media, we don't see really what's going on. They choose and they pick and choose what they're gonna show you, so if you just watch that, that's all you're gonna get, but as you said, you need other there need to be spaces for other media, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember a long time ago you did a film called Walking Home, right? Is it
Mhm.
the right title? And I love it. And I'm like, and it's funny that you're talking about me now, because I was like, I need somebody to do. I want to do like a biography, something with my story. And I'll say, I already have a friend. I have Nuala. I just gotta make a visit. We gotta plan something out, and we gotta make it work. But I love that, because story is powerful. People, each of our stories are so powerful. There's so much power. Because for me, as you said, I learn more hearing about people's story than just watching the regular news. I hear more watching other things like this, like stuff like this, than just watching the regular. And that's why I'll be honest with you, I don't watch the regular news. I really don't. I sometimes do, just to get a broad view of what's going on, and that's about it. But I already watch it, stuff like this, like what me and you are doing, because I learn more in that aspect. So I really appreciate you highlighting the important media, and that our voices are important. So we have that gift, or that skills and the passion to do so, we ought to do it, because it's just powerful, man. We can't keep silent. We need to speak on what is important. That's what I really love about you. You are not you are a bold woman. You are a bold woman. You are on fire every day, but what you believe, and I really respect that a lot about you. So thank you for sharing that.
Wait.
So there's another fun. I'm kind of interested to hear this answer of yours. Who
Mhm.
is your favorite historical black figures, present or past?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Eartha Kitt.
Oh, you see, I don't even know who that is, so I was
So,
very like
Eartha
intrigued.
Kitt. Eartha Kitt was an actress, um, and she sacrificed her career to speak out about U.S. imperialism and you know wars and racism. She she was badass, and she was a
I like
feminist.
that.
She was like,
Okay.
you know, she has this clip that you can find it on YouTube where she talks about why she has basically chosen to be alone and not take a man, like
Hmm.
not have a partner. She's just very like, why? Why do I want to how compromise? Why should I have to why do I just I really admire her confidence, her
Yeah.
courage, and she's funny. She was funny and
Yeah.
fierce and talented and yeah, I think Eartha Kitt is just like I would have loved to meet Eartha Kitt.
Nice. Is she alive, or she
She has passed.
passed? She passed on. Okay, nice. Yeah, you have to text me her name. I'll definitely like to check her out.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That's really cool. So another the next question. Who has served as an inspiration in your life?
Oh, I've had so many role models and mentors and teachers who have inspired me, but um I think I'll go with my grandmother. Um
Oh,
Anna
sweet.
Anna Cabral Spencer. Uh,
Oh,
Vieira is her virgin name, Vieira Spencer. She lived to be 102.
yeah.
Yeah, and she was just unapologetic about who she was. She used to say, "You don't have to like me because I'm not candy."
Ah! I love it.
That was Nana.
Love her
She was
sauciness.
unapologetically herself.
Yes.
She didn't tolerate any BS, uh, and she was very independent. Um, she raised 4 boys as a single mom, and she was married twice. Those marriages didn't work out, but she stayed friends with
Yeah.
with them,
Oh,
their
nice.
fathers, and um, yeah, she was just a matriarch in our family, and she brought us together, and she passed on, her culture through her love of music and food, and um, I think she really taught us to just be be confident and be proud of who you are, be proud
Mhm.
of your roots, and take
I
care of
love
you.
that.
Those are some messages that she instilled in us for sure. Take care of your family um, and be proud.
I love that. I love that. I'm a grandmother girl too, so I love that. There's a lot of things. My grandmother is one of my favorite,
Mm,
person in my life. She passed on, but yeah, it's beautiful that your grandmother was that bold and
yeah,
with the sassiness, like what my Angela say, you can hit me with your words. I can see your grandmother kind of like that. I
yeah.
love that. I love that. That's amazing. That's
Hmm.
amazing. Her soul rest in peace, man. That's amazing. All right, our second to our last question. What are some of your favorite black-owned businesses and why?
In Philadelphia, there's a business called Uncle Bobby's. It's
Okay.
a store, and I love Uncle Bobby's because not only is it a bookstore, it's a coffee shop,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
space. And so you go there, you can do work, you can, pick up a book, have some coffee, some sweet they have really good sweet potato pie. And
Nice.
it's just a
Ooh.
space. Like you're gonna go, you'll probably see someone you know or you'll meet someone new. And they
Mhm.
also do a lot of great events and book talks. In a couple weeks, Mohammed Al Kurd is speaking. He's a Palestinian writer and he just
Okay.
wrote a book and he'll be speaking. So I'm looking forward to going to that. There's just always they're always doing something. They're always organizing something and
Yeah.
lifting up authors, many authors of color who care about community and write great books. And yeah, I love that space, Uncle Bobby's. I mean, there's so many businesses in Philadelphia. There's Harriet's Bookshop as well. There's so many good restaurants. But I'll say in terms of like a place that I like to go to and support regularly and just feel good being there, and they have great books. Is
Nice.
Uncle Bobby's bookstore.
Nice.
And
Nice.
mhm.
Nice. I love that because I'm such a bookworm. So I love that. And when I come visit you, which I hope is soon, I definitely gonna check that out. And just saying, I will sit and just write some poetry, read some book, get myself sweet potato pie because I love potato pie. I don't really like any other pie but sweet potato
Oh,
pie. So
they don't.
that's perfect. Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, y'all. If you're in the Philly area, make sure you check out Uncle Bobby's, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Nuala. All right, before I let you go, if you can give any advice or encouragement to people who are unaware of the whole Black History Month or know of it, but they don't really, or to the other culture, to the other side, of people. Like, what advice, or to any other Black person, what are some advice that you want to leave with us today? Advice or just encouragement they just want to leave here today.
Um, I think I will just share that Black people are making Black history every day and every month of the year, and we should acknowledge that a lot of Black history has been obscured or erased. They're trying to erase it. They're trying to ban books from
Mhm.
schools. But we have to hold on to that history. Sometimes that means we have to do our own research,
Right.
um, and and ask why. Why are they trying to hide our Black history?
Yeah.
You know, why is it that they don't want us to know the ways in which we have been not only harmed but also have resisted and
Mm.
survived and thrived.
Yeah.
And so yeah, um, I would encourage folks to not limit their celebration or their learning of Black history to February.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge that there's
Yeah.
so much to learn, and if you don't love to read, there are so many great films you can. There's podcasts, you know,
Right.
so many ways to take in information. You can watch TikTok and learn a lot about Black history through TikTok. Reading is good, There are some really important books to read, but if that's not the way you like to bring in information, explore the other ways,
Yeah,
um, but try to learn your history because we're able to better understand, I think, our present and what's possible for the future when we understand and learn from our history.
yeah, yeah. That's so good, Nuala. That's very good. Learning and creating that space to learn about the history. Um, yeah, that's so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. You spill so much knowledge here and wisdom here tonight that I have to go back and listen to this, which I love when I do interview, just going back because so much to take in. But thank you so much for just gracing your presence on my platform, and feeling, I hope you felt safe. I hope you felt that this was a safe space, and just sharing me and sharing your wisdom. Yeah, so much. That's why I was like, I gotta was gonna do this, last year, right? I was trying to get you here, but it didn't work. So I'm like, I have to get her, just dedicating this month to my people, and also many other time. I'll definitely love to have you on here again. There are a lot of other things I'm trying to do with the channel. So I love you so much. I love your presence. I love what you do. Just keep doing you, man. Keep doing you. You really make me want to move to Philly now, because I'm all about the festivity and all about the activism. So I have some things to be thinking about, from everything you said. But thank you so much. Thanks to
Thank
the viewer that are watching and those who will see this later on. Thank you guys so much for your support and love. Nuella, I love you. You're amazing. You have a blessed night. Thank you
you,
again.
Lena. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.